Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Who am I? A challenging question to answer, considering that we typically start giving our roles, our hats, our labels, the things that we do, adjectives to describe ourselves. Last week, we looked at that question. And this week, we are evolving into who am I becoming? Welcome to A Woman's Prerogative here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I am joined by my co-host, the lovely world traveler, founder of Silver Rose & Co., an etiquette expert. Let's welcome Amanda Holmstrom to the program. Hello, welcome.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you for such a warm welcome.
You are welcome, and you are an entire world away, a day away. Where in the world are you, Amanda?
I arrived in Papua, Indonesia last night, which is where I live at the moment. It was a very long trip, and you're right, I'm about 14 hours ahead of you at the moment, but I'm not quite sure I've caught up to that yet.
I really admire who you are and who you're becoming, because you continue to evolve, my friend. From when I met you a year ago in London to where you are today, I am excited to see where you are going to go. So as you know, last week you came up with the title, Who Am I? And this week I took it a little bit further of who am I becoming? So what did you take away from last week's episode for anyone who may have missed it?
You know, I really enjoyed last week's conversation, and what came away from me during the conversation was how many things influence who we are becoming. And I love how it flows into this week, because who I am now is also influenced by the world around me, the people I meet, the experiences I have, the shows I watch, the books I read, and that follows from last week. Who I am becoming is affected by all those things as well. And they all go into who I am now and who I'm hoping to be in 5-10 years from now. I actually liked the theme for this week because it reminded me of a quote I'd read in a book. I was reading a biography on Nelson Mandela, and one of the quotes in the book was, "May your dreams reflect your hopes, not your fears." And it made me think about this week's theme on how do our choices shape the person we're becoming. What do you think?
I think what's quite fascinating is that every day that we wake up, we have a choice of how we're going to spend that day. And earlier today, we had an incredible program from Verna Haywood, The Unstoppable Life. And she was talking about something that really resonated with me. And I feel like it makes a perfect sense to bring up here today on this show, that we have opportunities, but many times we immediately say no. We close the door because we're afraid. What if I go through the door and I come out on the other side, but I'm not equipped? I don't have the skills. I don't have the tools. And now everything's changing. My life is set and structured the way that it is. Imagine, Amanda, for someone who is not a world traveler, if they stepped into your shoes and the travel that you've done since I just met you and living in Indonesia and doing the incredible work you and your husband are doing to teach students, and what you see on a day-to-day basis where you live. Not everyone can step into those shoes, but you took the opportunity to walk through that door. And that's helped to evolve who you were to who you are to who you're becoming.
It's very true. You know what? I have to admit, there's days that I don't know if I can be in my own shoes, to be honest. um, some of the lovely creatures where I live are enough to send me into a cardiac arrest, to be honest. So far, the eight-legged kind, we have an agreement that they stay outside and they're not seen in my house.
What about the ones on two legs that have those clawed feet? I don't even know what they are.
The cassowaries, I call them velociraptors because of that they have this one claw, and you really do not want to get on their bad side. But it's all part of the adventure. But you're absolutely right. I have known some people for years, and they've no interest in traveling. They are quite happy staying right where they are, and they have lovely lives. They honestly do. And there is something to be said for that lifestyle as well that I miss sometimes. But I have one friend, and her fear of traveling, we discuss it quite often, and just the thought of getting on a plane and going somewhere unknown terrifies her. Whereas for my husband and I, we can't wait. It was one of the reasons we picked Papua to come to, was the adventure of going somewhere most people will never have the chance to go. I know you and I met in London, so I know you're a world traveler as well. You were on your way to Greece, I believe, from London when I met you.
Yes, I definitely was. I mean, I went to Panama, and that to me was the furthest in terms of the wildlife and the creatures that were there. So I can't even imagine what it must be like for you. But I think it's all important because it goes into who we are and who we're becoming. And as we are evolving, to me, I like to have goals, maybe a vision board. I just watched a short clip. I don't know if you know who Mariska Hargitay is from. She's been on Law and Order for very long time. But before she was on Law and Order, she actually decided she wanted to be on Law and Order. And she had that in her mindset. That was a goal that she had. And then look how it turned out. I don't know how many seasons it is now, but she basically put it out to the universe that that's what she wanted to do. So I really strongly believe that the only thing holding us back is our imagination and our commitment and our conviction. But when things show up as they do, and it looks like it is a fork in the road or it's a dead end, when we see a dead end, we start to panic and we think, oh, I wasn't supposed to go this way. But maybe we were actually supposed to adjust our mindset and perspective to be open to where it is we are supposed to go. Instead of looking at it as a failure, looking at it as an opportunity to continue evolving just in a different way.
Absolutely. I love that. And honestly, that feels like it sums up a lot of my life at the moment. The choices. I remember meeting you a year ago. It would have been, yes, almost exactly a year ago now. And I remember you going, "Oh, you're going to be perfect. You're going to be broadcasting one day." And I just looked at you and went, "No." I wasn't even willing to consider it. It was not on my board at all. And now look, right? But what you say about having that vision and taking those chances really resonates. And I have to wonder if you don't take those chances, will you have the opportunity to become who you're supposed to be? Or will you stay the same the, for most of your life? Which, if you're happy with that, fabulous, right? That's everyone has to be happy with who they are. But what would happen if you took that one opportunity? And that's a question that I always ask myself. So my husband and I are constantly asking ourselves, okay, what can we do to grow, to change, to learn? If we don't take this opportunity, what might we be missing? I know you have taken some huge opportunities in your life as well, and look at where you are now too, right? USA Global, the listening mentor. If we hadn't taken those opportunities, where would we still be? And that's a huge question and a lot to look at.
It absolutely is. And we will never know the answer to that. What I think is also important is people come into our lives for a reason. You and I met for a reason. And I saw something in you that you didn't see at that time, but you were open to it. It was a little challenging at first, but it was kind of like prying open a can. Finally, the lid starts to come off, and boom, all of a sudden, this beautiful flower comes out. And once you got over your fear, you were open to it. And what the audience doesn't know is you put a lot of work. You put a lot of work into being a world-class global broadcaster. You had no experience whatsoever on television, and you put all the work in, and now you will be starting your own show very soon. Look at the breathing, already the breathing, and that's okay. That's natural. But Amanda, for me also, there are people who have come into my life who saw something in me, and they helped me when I was just rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. One person, Heather Dean from Israel, she wrote to me, and I don't even know how she got my information, but she wrote to me and said I was the next Diane Sawyer, which was such a compliment. And so she saw something. Ian Palm Turner in the UK, he saw something in me. So I think if we are open to signals that come from the universe through other people, that we don't know where it's going to take us. But if we live in a place of fear and we don't want to evolve, like for example, at 63, most of the people I know who are my age are retired. And that's terrific. They couldn't imagine doing what it is that I do. And so it's hard to relate a lot of times because it's kind of like, oh, you're going golfing, fishing, hiking, swimming, boating. And those things to me, I have no interest in those things. I'm sure they're terrific. And people will say, well, don't you want to go on vacation? No, this is a vacation. I found my passion. And so I know for you that you really evaluate and look at things because you've launched your business. You have a new book coming out. You knew that, right?
Yes, yes, I'm. It's ready to be edited, actually. So.
Yes. Fantastic. So when you think about who you are becoming, what comes up for you? Are there adjectives? Are there nouns? Are you thinking of different hats that you are going to put on to evolve from the role that you're in? How would you describe it?
You know what? In a lot of ways, I would say my life is actually quite chaotic sometimes, but it's a dream. Honestly, and it's easy sometimes to get lost in the, well, I wish I had done this, or I wish I had this, or, oh, why did I do that? But I'm actually quite blessed. That's a word that comes up when I think of my life. I've had the opportunity to do things a lot of people haven't. As educators, my husband and I just made that decision. We were going to go and travel. We would work and travel at the same time. And I've seen places and I've met people and I've seen cultures that I would never have had the chance to. And through my travels, I've been extremely blessed to meet people that have touched my life in ways that I would never have imagined. A year ago, prior to my training with the British School of Excellence, I would never have even thought that I would meet somebody as wonderful as yourself, or the staff at the British School that would make such a change in my life. So you asked me a very simple question. I've gone on a very long answer. Blessed. I'm blessed and scared, and because there's quite a change coming in my life. So, but those would be the two words I'd probably use.
They're very descriptive, and that's how you feel. And I appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to the British School of Excellence because you just mentioned them. And I met someone through there, Justina Matali, Dr. Justina Matali, who has brought me in to speak at various events and contacted me just the other day about teaching students in Zimbabwe elevated listening. So if you have an opportunity to take a course to get to know the people at the British School of Excellence, I highly recommend it because, again, you're walking into a space where you never know where things are going to go. So, Amanda, that brings me to my next part of our conversation, which is really based on what I'm learning at the Wharton School of Business from University of Pennsylvania. We are looking at leadership, presence, and influence. And so one of the things that we've been talking about is networking. And as we're evolving and who are we becoming, a lot of that is tied to who it is that we are associating with. And so many times people are part of a network. If you think about it, let's say the British School of Excellence, right? That is a network of people. And we tend to stay in the same network with the same people. And if we were to leave that network, it would still continue because it's highly densely populated with people. They don't actually need us. But if we were part of a divergent network where we're connecting one person to two people and maybe three other people to these two people, we are really in the driver's seat in that type of network. And so if we are looking at who are we becoming, who are we networking with? Where are we spending our time? With the same people, with the same conversations, or are we branching out? So how would you describe that? Because you really are a world traveler and you know people all over the world. Do you tend to spend most of your time with the same people? Or are you typically branching out to meet new people?
I love meeting new people. I honestly do. I think a lot of people are quite comfortable staying within the same groups. And it's hard sometimes to branch out. And some people don't have to. I love it. I love everything about meeting new people and new opportunities and new learning experiences. But it is nerve-wracking. Something a lot of people don't know about me is that I get anxiety attacks. I've had them since I was a little girl. And I will have them even around people I've known for years. Some of my best friends know that if we're going to get together, most of them will come to me because then I'm in my safe place, which means I can relax a little bit. But it was something I always swore I would never let stop me because that would stop me from meeting new people and branching out. And I would not have wanted to miss meeting the people that I have in my journeys. I have met some amazing people in different fields, in different cultures, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. And I look forward to meeting so many more and learning about them and where they're from and what they believe, and having real conversations with people that I haven't been able to call friend yet because I haven't met them.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But if you look at it, you and I are able to combine our networks, right? You're part of USA Global TV and Radio. You just met a whole new network of people. And through Silver Rose & Co., your business, I'll be able to meet a whole new group of people. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to hear from one of our team members, Tracy Cram Perkins. For any of you out there who have a family member who is going through memory loss, potentially dementia or Alzheimer's, I want you to seriously consider picking up a copy of Tracy's book, Dementia Home Care, Before, During, and After. It's named after the TV show that she has here on USA Global TV and Radio. My own mother had dementia, and it is a very tough journey, especially if you're the full-time caregiver. But Tracy's book is a resource. Tracy's a dear friend, and she really helped me tremendously, personally and through her book. Let's take a look. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care, How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio. Have you subscribed to our channels yet? USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. What are you waiting for? Welcome back to A Woman's Prerogative, where we've been exploring who am I becoming? Let's welcome the star of our show, joining us from Indonesia. It's Amanda Holmstrom. Welcome to the program, Amanda.
Thank you for welcoming me back. That book, Dementia, affects so many people, and it is a great read. So.
It really is. And the thing is that I don't have the book because I gave it away, because that's how important it is. It's like my family member passed away, you pass the book on. But the way that it's written, there's a big box in each chapter that really summarizes everything. And then there's resources at the end. So do consider picking up a copy. All right, we were talking about who we are becoming. So you are a business owner and you help young people learn etiquette and manners, which, by the way, we've learned this from the British School of Excellence. And I laugh because my certificate right here is a certified etiquette trainer signed by our dear friend Philip is here. But etiquette is not just for posh people. It's not just about opening doors, pulling chairs. It's actually emotional intelligence. It's leading with integrity and grace. So why is it important, as we look at who we're becoming, to help children understand etiquette and manners, Amanda?
That is a great question.
Thank you. That's why they keep me around here.
And honestly, it goes back to the question that we actually looked at last week as well, of what qualities do you want to have going out into the world? What qualities, what lessons, what kind of people do we want our children to grow up to become? I know I have 4 children myself, and I have raised them all with etiquette and manners, and tried to teach them the social confidence to be able to go out into the world with some confidence to meet new people and to make a difference. The basis of etiquette and manners is the golden rule. It's, what can I do for you? And that's important to teach our young children, so that they can grow up with it and they can go out and try and make the world a better place. Because it's not about me, myself, and I. It is about, what can I do for you? And if we start teaching that young, the caring, the self-confidence to be able to be yourself in any situation, so that you can help those who need it, or help somebody in a situation, whether in a business, then that's an opportunity I don't think we can bypass.
Excellent point. I was doing some reading by Heidi Roizen, who is a renowned expert on networking. And one of the things that she's credited for is when we actually are being of service, being of value, making introductions, make it as easy as possible for the person. So Amanda, if I were to say to you, I'd love an introduction to XYZ in regards to etiquette, now I gave you more work, right? So now you want to help me, but now you have more work to do. So basically, I would write the emails to each of the people and send it to you. So when you are teaching young people etiquette and manners, are you teaching them also to be of service instead of look at me, how great I am, basically comment on how great somebody else is, how well someone else is doing, instead of everyone wants a trophy, everybody gets a trophy?
Absolutely. One of the fun activities, and I've done this for years, even before I actually officially became an etiquette instructor, was giving them the task of going out and smiling at as many people as they can, and to watch the reactions they get, so that they can see how just something as simple as giving a smile to somebody can change a whole person's day. And it's always amazing to see what the kids come back with, especially the younger children, because they smile and they laugh so freely, and you can't help but laugh and smile along with them. I noticed that recently while I was doing my traveling back to Indonesia this week, is that there were a couple of children in the airports that you had those that they were so tired, they just could not handle anything else. And you couldn't help but feel sympathy. And it actually, I don't know if it's because I'm a mother myself but I couldn't help but get that feeling going, oh, shame, I'm so sorry that they're feeling that way. But then you had those couple of children that they're laughing, they're smiling, they're having fun, and you just can't help but smile with them. And though you're tired and you're a bit cranky because you've been traveling for 3-4 days already, it makes you feel lighter. And children do it so automatically that running a little experiment like that with them, it makes them happy as well. They get to go out and they get to smile at people, and you can tell some of the children that they will have no problems moving forward in life, because they'll go up to people and they start chatting and then smiling and going, oh, how are you? How's your day going? And you're just standing there going, I love these kids. And then you get the shy one, and I love them just as much, because they'll smile and they give a little wave, and you just watch the grumpiest adult who's walking past stop and kind of go, smile and wave back, and they walk off with a smile themselves, and their whole day's changed because of one little child and an experiment that you're running with them.
Well, Amanda, that's such a good point, and it reminds me of our colleague and friend Red O'Loughlin, whom I've known for now 5 years. And whenever I see him and I'll say, how are you doing? He'll say, excellent as always. And I never really know if he is excellent as always, but that's how he responds. And he said when he says that, it changes his whole demeanor. Because if you say, I'm fine, I'm okay, kind of you bring yourself down. But by saying excellent as always and then smiling afterwards, you feel like a little lilt, a little lift in your shoulders almost. So I would encourage people, as we are evolving and looking at who we are becoming, What is our own mindset when no one else is around, when it's just us in the quiet recesses of our mind? Are we smiling? And I've said this before, and I'd love your thoughts about it. There's so much conversation about what we have, what we don't have. But what resonates with me is how happy are we? How peaceful are we? On Saturday, I went in to get an evaluation on my resting heart rate, which I know is really thrilling. But two questions were asked of me, and the answers that I gave really were profound to me. The first was in a study of your own stress level, if you're evaluating your own stress, from 1 to 10, 10 being you're completely flipped out. How stressful are you? And I said 1, just because there's always some kind of stress. And then how well do you sleep? 10 being the optimum. So 10, I sleep really well. So based on the fact that I feel very little stress and I sleep well, of course, I think those things go together. To me, I'm at peace. That doesn't mean everything's perfect. Absolutely not. But where we spend our time, are we spending our time looking at what I don't have or what I do have? And to sum that up, and then I want to go over to you. My father had a very hard time breathing. He was hooked up to a machine and he used to shake his lungs. And he used to wear a patch on his head all the time because he had migraines from the shaking of the lungs. He had bronchiectasis, mold growing in his lungs. My mother lost her hearing in one ear and she lost her vision in the other eye, and she had dementia. And she was a very happy, pleasant person. So to me, I don't look at what I don't have. I think, you know what? I can breathe. I can see out of both eyes. I can hear out of both ears, and I'm still here because I have people in my life who are not here anymore. So what is it that we can focus on as we evolve instead of looking in the rearview mirror and going, well, I don't have that anymore. That's not around. He's not around. She's not around. You're evolving. Keep going, because we don't know where the journey will take us, but enjoy the ride. Over to you, Amanda.
First off, I hope that the doctor's visit went well. That's I have white coat syndrome. I get very nervous, so when they ask me what my stress levels are like going into a doctor's office, they're quite high. The nurse and I have an agreement. I know they have to take the blood pressure, but we've agreed that they kind of just ignore it because it's always almost off the charts. But I like, it's wow. That's quite the deep thing to think about, because I think in today's society, we are so focused on what we don't have and what we have not done or what we still need to finish, that we forget about what we do have. We forget about the blessings. And I love that word. We forget about the things that we do have, the blessings we have in our lives, the friends, a roof over our head, our loved ones, and the opportunities that we already have been able to accomplish. I love reading. You and I have discussed that a few times, and I've often thought that life is very much like reading. We can only understand the story that for where we are in the book now, and by looking back at past chapters that we've already read. But we don't always realize how each experience, how each challenge, how each person we meet, how those are all showing us who we're becoming and the things that we have. I know a lot of people will say, well, is your glass half empty? Is it full? Well, how about we're thankful that there's water in our glass and be thankful for what we have. But that's not very easy in today's world. But it's important to do that every day. Something I try, and I try and ask my children this, is one thing that they're thankful for that day. And it's hard. It is it sounds so simple. It really does. But some days that's very, very hard, because we get caught up in what's going wrong. What haven't we done? What have we not got? And that's very easy to get into that routine of always thinking in the negative. And it's a hard habit to break.
Yes, it is. One thing I want to share is, as a result of being on this network, I was introduced to some individuals from Push Child Foundation in Uganda, and they have a community of people who are living with HIV, and they have no running water. And literally, children are walking 3 miles with a jug on their head to get clean water to bring back, and they have no shoes. And so I think sometimes in the United States, for example, in Canada, other places in the world, we don't even think about those types of things because we pretty much have everything. And when we hear stories like that, it's like, well, that's not my problem. That's, how many people is that? 10 people, 15 people. But if you look at it, there are people who are suffering, really struggling. And you know about that where you live. There are places in the world with cannibalism. There are places in the world. I was just talking to someone today, a place that you and I both know and love, very well known for knife crime. People walking around with knives ready to steal your watch, steal whatever it is you have because they're desperate. So I think when we look at who are we becoming, it starts off with giving gratitude and realizing that at any moment, it can be taken away from you. At any moment, you could be the person standing on the street corner. You could be the person with the needle in your arm. You don't know what someone else is going through. So while you have your wits about you, right? I already told you about my mother. Watching someone you love lose their mind is a very hard thing. While you have your wits about you, think about what it is you're grateful for and embrace it. And maybe someone else you don't even know who looks down. Maybe you walk past someone, you say hello. You do something nice. You hold the door for someone with no expectations. And that's where I think we come back to that whole idea of networking, is being of service without looking for something to come back to you.
I completely agree. It's taking that one opportunity to help somebody if you can. I did it this summer, and unfortunately where I'm from is facing a very, very big homeless issue at the moment. And there are a number of people that they don't have homes. They're living on the street. And personally, I don't like giving money. Because I don't know what that money will be put towards. But I'm more than happy to go buy you something to eat, or to find somewhere for you to shower and clean. I was approached by a man this summer asking for money, and I looked at him and said, I'm happy to take you for something to eat. And he kind of looked at me going, why? And I went, because we all have to eat. And I asked him what he would like, and he said, just a drink would be. And I went, okay. And I went into the closest supermarket, and I got a couple of drinks. And I also picked up a couple of sandwiches, and I gave them to him, and he just looked at me and went, why? And I went, why not? Because I can. And one of my daughters asked me afterwards, going, Mom, you can't do that with everyone. And I went, no, I can't. But I can help the ones that I can, even with something as little as a sandwich, because I can. And she went, but then they know that they can, and I hope they know they can keep coming and asking, because that's something small that I can do. And I kind of just looked at her going, there's not much that separates us. One bad decision, one call, and we're out of a job. We could be them. There's not much that changes between that. At any moment, something could happen, and we could be having bad luck as well. And I would hope somebody would take the time to help with something as simple as a sandwich.
I love that you did that. And what I want to add on to that also is that many times we look within our own circle and the answer is not there. I talked about having a dense network where everyone's connected, and maybe that is the network that the person was in, and then something happens, they lose their job, they become homeless, and that network might turn on them. And they might actually need to look outside of that to a completely different group of people. And maybe that's where you came in that scenario. So as we bring this episode to a close, Amanda Holmstrom, Indonesia, who are you becoming?
Oh, I would hope that I'm becoming the person I'm supposed to be. I think that is a tough question. At the moment, I am becoming the director and founder of Silver Rose & Co. And living internationally for as long as I have is giving me the opportunity to work with individuals and families, schools, and organizations to help build confidence and communication skills, life skills across multiple cultures. And if you would like to reach out, I would love to hear from you. You can go to my website and learn more at silverroseco.ca. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. You can search for me under Amanda Holmstrom. It's HOLMSTROM. You can also find Silver Rose & Co. on Facebook and Instagram. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. What the audience doesn't know is that in your journey to become a world-class broadcaster, you also had to put together all of these social media sites.
A work in progress. I'm still working on them.
Great job. Thank you for being here, Amanda. Well, everyone, thank you for taking the time to be with us on another episode of A Woman's Prerogative. Coming up next is You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. I want to leave you with this. Each and every one of you out there has something very special and unique. But because of life, we get beaten down and we don't remember those things. And sometimes we only think of the labels that have been attached to us by other people. But when you truly break free of needing external validation and you realize everything that you need is already inside of you, when you look at the mirror and you see that person looking back, that's your best friend. That's your coach. That's who you need. And when you become right with that, everything else will fall in place. So remember to believe in yourself, because until you do, it will be difficult for other people to believe in you. I believe in you, and I thank you for being here. Please do consider subscribing to our channels, USA, Global TV and Radio, where we've earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 subscribers, and my own personal channel, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, where we have about 41,000 as we're a couple years behind. And as we close out, we're going to hear from our dear friend and colleague, Mr. Red O'Loughlin, who has written a new book, and the book is called Aging Sucks. Let's take a look.
What if many of the problems we associate with aging are not random? What if there are identifiable causes behind declining energy, chronic disease, and memory problems? We have been told that aging is simply something we must accept, that slowing down is normal, that growing older means growing weaker. But what if that's only part of the story? Why do some people remain active and engaged well into their later years? Why do others struggle with disease, fatigue, and declining health? What is happening beneath the surface? What processes drive aging? In Aging Sucks, researcher, educator, and author Red O'Loughlin explores what researchers have discovered about why we grow older. No medical degree required, no confusing jargon, just clear explanations of what researchers have discovered about the processes that influence aging. You cannot stop aging, but understanding its causes may help you make better decisions about your health, your future, and your quality of life. Because understanding comes before action. Action creates hope. Aging sucks. End the guesswork. There is hope.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.